Let's talk to James Gallagher, who I know was very disappointed about having to pull out of that fight, who we haven't seen in action since June of last year at Madison Square Garden. He is joining us right now via the magic of Skype, and he is new to Skype. He actually went out of his way to sign up for Skype. What was the experience like, James? Tell us about it.
That was a hassle. It took me about 3 hours to sign up to the thing. Kept asking me for my number all the time. Every time I typed it in, it was like, number won't work. It took me hours, but it's good to have it on, and it's good to be on the show proper for the first time, because unless you're on Skype, do you know what I mean? It's just not the same.
I agree. I agree. It's long overdue. I appreciate you going the extra mile for us, or kilometer, as maybe you would say in Ireland. It's great to see you here, and it's great to see you smiling, James, because I know you were upset about the injury. Tell us first what exactly happened that forced you out of that fight.
I was doing training. I was doing a like positional sparring, so it wasn't even like a striking class, and I was like just training. I was actually training with Brian Moore, who is fighting on the Budapest card as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on that card. And we were wrestling, and I literally mimicked a shot, and like I hit him in the head with it. Like it was just a very light shot, and I just got like a big shooting pain just going straight up my hand and into my wrist. And I thought it was just like an awkward way I hit him, and I thought it was just just pain, and I thought like it was just going to go away within a matter of seconds. And then I like continued on, and we went to like a roll or something on the floor, and I based out with my hand, and it just like got this like another pain, only worse. And then I obviously knew then that there was something up with my hand, and I like stopped training, and I took off my gloves, and I could see it could start to swell a little. So then I was sitting there looking, and I was like, well, it's only a few weeks out from my fight, so the only thing to do is to go and get it x-rayed. So I went and got it x-rayed, and the doctor came out and said that I have an old fracture on my hand, but I've also got a new one just slightly above the old fracture. And I've now got this flipping thing here you can see on my hand. I've had this on for about... I think I've had it on for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I've got about another 2 or 3 left in it.
Wow.
So I'm not actually like a lot punch with it until then, but I'm looking forward to getting it off and getting back in there. I've had a tough run of injuries, and I felt the best I've ever felt coming back from a knee injury, and then for that to happen, it's just unfortunate. But I'm staying fit, I'm staying positive, and I'm going to be ready for, as soon as this hand comes off, I'm going to be ready to jump straight back in there and take whatever other show they've got coming up. And I know they've got the big one on in London, and I'm itching at the bit back to where I made my debut. That's where I want to fight next.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But just to be clear, you don't need surgery on the hand, correct?
Nah, it's not. It's just a clean fracture. It's just going to take time in the splint, and just let it set. I don't need surgery or nothing. It's not like a serious, do you know what I mean? It's not like no career threatening injury.
Sure.
It's just a fracture.
When you came to the realization that this was going to preclude you from fighting in Budapest, and I know you were supposed to fight late last year in Ireland, and these were 2 big spots for you, like how did you digest that? Were you depressed? I mean, this is the second time in a row, as you just mentioned, some bad luck. How did you feel afterwards?
I said I'm still fighting. I had a big cast in my hand. And literally you can see my other hand just cleared up, that I was just doing that much boxing with this hand. I started to get little fucking blisters on it. So I did, but everyone was saying you can't fight, you've got a plaster Paris on, and I was adamant that I was fighting. It takes me coaches and stuff, and they were like, well, you can't fight, and I was like, I'm fighting. I wouldn't pull out of the fight for about 2.5 weeks, and I just kept in the gym doing my time, working around, kicking the bag. It was the most frustrating 2 weeks in my life, but then after that, then I just had to bite the bullet and know that I wasn't going to be ready. Do you know what I mean? I'm not, like, I probably still could have went and fought, and I probably still would have won. But then it's like, all right, you go in and you throw a right hand, and then you have to get surgery. You're out for another year, and do you know what I mean? That's the reason why I withdrew from the fight. It wasn't about the actual fight itself. It was about my future and my career. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm only 21. I've got a long career left. Do you know what I mean? I've got a lot of time ahead of me. I've got a lot of big things ahead of me. So it wasn't really about this fight that made me pull out, because I'm still confident I would have went in and beat this guy with one hand. So I would have no problem. I would have just took him down. I would have submitted him like I do with all the rest of them. But it's just not worth that and going in here and knowing that you have to come out of this fight and then I have to go and go through surgery. I have to get the hand fixed again and only back from the knee injury. Do you know what I mean? Where the smart thing to do was just wait and be 100% and come back and make a statement in the comeback and not go in half prepared.
Ultimately, who convinced you to pull out of this one?
My coaches and my teammates. They were just, no one didn't want to tell me just to pull out in case I just still went ahead and fought, you know what I mean? But they were saying it's not smart, you're young, you have loads of time ahead, and I've got a good circle of people around me, my family and my coach, John, and I've got a few close teammates there as well who also give me the right advice, and I listened to them every time, even though I didn't for about 2 weeks. I always do listen to them, and then I came around to them, and then I was like, you're right. Do you know what I mean? I'm just being stupid here, and I've fought so many times. Do you know what I mean? So it's not about having the balls and stepping in and fighting. Do you know what I mean? I've got up and stepped.
Oh, looks like we may have lost him. I was actually just thinking in the back of my mind, for someone doing Skype for the first time, this is a pretty great Skype connection. Of course, it all comes down to the Wi-Fi, but I was just thinking that. I believe in these jinxes. These jinxes actually work. Anyhow, we'll reconnect with young James Gallagher, as he just mentioned, 21 years young. We last saw him in New York, Bellator NYC, June 24th of last year at Madison Square Garden, and he really was one of the stars of that show. You remember his performance against Shinzo Machida, and that place erupted for him. I mean, the crowd wasn't as big as UFC at MSG the first 2 times, or the only 2 times. But he came across as a legit star at Madison Square Garden. I made a point to go sit cage side on press row to watch that, and he came across as a star. He was one of the, and especially considering the fact that he's young, he's somewhat homegrown for Bellator. He came across, in my opinion, just as much of a star, honestly, as anyone on the card. He wasn't even on the pay-per-view portion of the card. And then they followed that up with an opportunity to headline a show in Ireland, same arena that Conor fought Diego Brandao. Unfortunately, he had a knee injury that forced him out of that one, which was a big blow to the card. And then they followed that up with the opportunity to headline the show next week on Friday, April 6th in Budapest, Hungary against Adam Borks. And unfortunately, now as you hear, the fight isn't happening. He is hoping, as he said at the beginning of the interview, to return Bellator 200 on May 25th. That's taking place in London. And again, what a great weekend that is shaping up to be. If you're a fan of UK MMA or English MMA, if you live close to London or close to Liverpool, you have an opportunity to go to both events. And I actually feel like the inclusion of the Liverpool card on the same weekend actually helps the Bellator event. If you're able to afford both, I could see a lot of fans going to both. And I think it actually helps that one is on a Friday and one is on a Sunday. Friday is Bellator, Sunday is Liverpool. If they were back-to-back, maybe that's a bit of a stretch. Maybe it's a little tough to get to both. But now you've got a day in between. So I think that would be a great weekend for fans. So now we're going to go to the phones. Is what's happening here with James Gallagher? We had him on Skype. Now we're going to the phones. James, what happened?
The fucking thing, I spent all day fixing it up and it just shut off.
Your computer shut off?
No, the Skype app, it just, I think, went away and it won't work. That means I'm sitting here sweating trying to fucking get the thing on, but it obviously, I don't know what's wrong with it.
It's okay. We can hear you. It's fine. It was great to see you for 12 minutes there, but we'll continue. We'll continue with the phone. It's all right. Don't be so hard on yourself. So this being the second big fight that you've had to pull out is like, I kind of view you as this caged animal now, because as I said, while we were trying to connect, you came across like one of the big stars on that MSG show. Like, I remember sitting there thinking, this guy is going to explode. The reaction to you, the finish, the way you handled Machida, and you've been unable, because of this bad luck, to, advance after that. Do you feel like you've lost some momentum here a bit?
No, not at all. definitely not at all. I'm only 21. Do you know what I mean? I'm young. I've still got people don't get into this game until they're my age. Do you know what I mean? I haven't lost nothing. If anything, it's built that fire up inside of me. Do you know what I mean? It's given me that time to grow as a person myself. Do you know what I mean? So then, the next time that I walk out in these big shows in Madison Square Garden, the next time that I fight in Madison Square Garden, you're going to see an even mature, better James Gallagher. It's going to improve that thing that you says you've seen, that star factor. It's going to be even more the next time. I don't feel like that I've lost anything. Maybe if I was a 35-year-old man, or me, do you know what I mean, coming to the age of my career, or coming to the end, that I've had loads of fights and have been on a run, but I'm just getting started, Ariel. I'm just getting going here. Do you know what I mean? I'm young. I've got that factor about me. I got that energy about me, and I don't feel like that I've lost anything at all.
Are you going to change anything that you do in training to avoid injuries as a result of these experiences?
Yeah, there has to be something, but it's the two injuries that I got were like freak accidents. It wasn't to say that I was like training, like with heavy people, or I was like doing something different that I shouldn't have been doing. It was just something you do every day, and it just give out. You know what I mean? It was just, I don't know what it was. They were just freak accidents, and unfortunately I got 2 in a row. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't to say that I was doing something that was stupid, or I was doing anything that I shouldn't have been doing. This kind of thing. It was just a freak accidents, and they happen. Do you know what I mean? I can't prevent. I couldn't prevent them. I just never. I feel if I was to prevent them, I may as well just never train again. Do you know what I mean? That's the only way that it would be to prevent the injuries that happened. When I hurt my knee, I was just wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Just usual wrestling class, and my knee went. And then with my hand, I literally threw the lightest shot ever. My training partner didn't even know that I had him. It was just that awkward way, freak accident kind of. I probably couldn't have done it if I had tried to do. It was that freak of an accident. So I'm just going to regroup and get back to my own ways and get back training and just get back in there and do me. Just do what I've been always doing.
So you say you want to fight in May at Bellator 200. That card is taking place in London. It's a familiar city for you. What are the chances that you actually get put on that card?
The chances that I should be already matched and put on it. That's what the chances should be. So it is and a Bellator, great. I love working with Bellator. When I made my debut, they took someone off the main card just so they could put me on it. You know what I mean? They took that chance. They put a 19-year-old kid back then who was just 3-0. They took someone with a lot of experience off the main card to put me on it. Back in, I think it was 2 years ago, July, 2 years ago, I think it was, in 2002 in London. Back when I made my debut, they took that chance with me back then. Do you know what I mean? That was a big risk for them to do that, to take someone with a lot of experience off the main card, to put a 19-year-old kid with 3 fights on that card. Do you know what I mean? They didn't know if I was just going to walk out there and crumble. Do you know what I mean? Because we have seen that with up-and-coming stars walking out in big shows and crumbling. But I didn't. I walked out there and I handled it like a champ. So I did it like I always do. And I'm just asking for them to do the same this time. Do you know what I mean? Just move some other fill off the card and bang me on it. Do you know what I mean? It's only over the water. I'd bring half the country over with me. So I would, but I really hope they put me on it. So I do, but whatever it is, I'll be ready. Do you know what I mean?
Are they receptive to this? Like, I know you want to be, but like, have you talked to them? Are they trying to make this happen? Is it actually possible?
Yeah, there's motions in the works.
Okay.
So it is. There are definitely motions in the works, and there's definitely talks and stuff. But the card's pretty full up, and that's the problem. Do you know what I mean? So I'll just be ready. That's the only thing I can do. I'm just going to be training. I'm going to be ready for May, and if that doesn't happen, I'll just be ready for anything that comes up after that. Do you know what I mean? My job is to fight. So it is, and my job is to just be ready to fight. So I'm not going to sit here and complain and be like, I deserve this and I deserve that, because at the end of the day, you don't deserve jack shit. No one does. Do you know what I mean? You work for it and you get in there and you take your chances where the opportunity arises. And if my opportunity doesn't arise, it doesn't arise. But I hope Bellator can pull a few strings and they can make my opportunity arise. And I'm going to take that opportunity with both hands, and I'll be ready to do it if it does. But if not, it is what it is, and I'll just keep continuing on and doing me and doing the usual. But it would be nice, wouldn't it, to get on that card? It's such a big historic card, the 200 one, and it would mean a lot to me to get on it.
Anyone in particular that you think makes sense for that card for you?
Anyone. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a granny in the street. I don't care who it is. I just want to get on there, and I just want to fight. I don't care who it is, what it is. Just get me on it. That's all I want. I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It's the Jimmy show. It doesn't matter who they fire in. But I would love to fight Adam Barracks on it. I think he deserves to get me again. Do you know what I mean? He deserves it, and I'm willing to fight him again. So I think that they should have just moved that, because they took him off main event anyway. Once I came off, they took him off his home show. It's his home show over in Hungary. That's where he's from. And once I pulled out, he is now not the main event. So that's sad to see. So they should just move him over to London and get me against him in London.
Yeah, and actually the guy who replaced you in what is now the co-main event for Hungary just pulled out of the fight. So as of right this second, I haven't checked like in the last few hours, but he doesn't even have an opponent anymore.
Jeez, that's a bad unfortunate luck for him.
Yeah.
I'm me. I don't give a fuck about him. I just care about me not fighting. So I don't give a fuck about him. But yeah, move him over to London then. Get me against him. It's perfect. Makes perfect sense. He's a young up and comer. I'm a young up and comer as well, and I'm ready for him. I had his number. I would have beat him no problem. I want to show people that I would beat him no problem.
I feel like someone needs to ring up Scott Coker and I'm like, what are you thinking, Scott? You got to put the Strabanimal on this card. I mean, it makes too much sense.
Of course, they got to bring the Jimmy show to London, but I'm sure Scott's watching, so
yeah, he loves this show.
You better answer me call.
Scott is avoiding your call? Is that actually happening? That can't be happening.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay.
We're always in good contact, and they always work well with me. And anything I ask, they always 90% of the time they always do. And do you know what I mean? It's definitely nothing like that. Bellator are great communication with me, and we always work great, and we have a great team, and everything works well together. There's no
90%.
You can't fault that.
For a blue chip prospect like you, it should be 100% of the time. Why just 90%?
Well, what's possible? What's possible can be different sometimes.
That is true. And why are we wasting time with this with the AJ McKee thing? Why can't we get this this to happen in 2018? I feel like we're delaying this. Why not now? Do we not want it? What's happening?
I'm sitting here ready to fight anyone. Mm-hmm. Anyone. I always have been. I always said I will fight anyone. I don't care who it is. Send me over the contract and I'll sign them back within 10 minutes, the same way I've done with every other fight. So it is. I don't care who it is. Like, I'll fight anyone. So, well, you can ask Scott Coker that. You can ask the matchmakers that. I've signed every contract that they have fired to me. The ball is on their court. So it is. It's not mine. The ball's on their court. I'm sitting here ready to fight London. Bellator 200. If he wants it, I'm here.
All right. I think that's pretty clear. Let's go. Someone asked me a question before you got on the show. Someone tweeted me, I can't believe you're not going to ask James Gallagher about fighting Aaron Pico. You weren't even on the show yet, and this person is saying, I can't believe you didn't ask the question. How do they know I didn't ask the question? Anyway, you get asked that question a lot? Is that something that a lot of people ask you about?
Yeah, him and AJ. So they're the two questions I get. And as I say, I will fight anyone.
Yeah,
My
yeah, yeah.
only focus is on a world title.
Right.
That's my focus. So if Bellator say you have to fight these two fools to get a world title, then we fight them. Do you know what I mean? Anyone they put in front of me, I'm going to fight if it gets me my way to the world title. That's all. I'm not focused on this absolute cringe fucking thing that he's doing, making all these stupid videos and making all these stupid slogans and T-shirts and shit about me. They try and create a hype of a fight. Do you know what I mean? I'm focused on a world title, and I'm focused on me. I'm too busy focusing on me and focusing on training. They be doing all this cringy shit. Do you know what I mean? I'm just get to the gym, mate, and stop making T-shirts and stop making stupid videos. Do you know what I mean? Put in a bit of work. Get towards a world title. That's the kind of attitude that you need, and that's the kind of attitude that will make fights happen. Everyone's sitting, going back, cringing and laughing at it and going, "What the fuck's going on here?" Do you know what I mean? Not saying this is going to create a good fight. Do you know what I mean? Focus on let's win fights and let's get after it. If that's what he wants, then it's easy. It's easy to ring Bellator. Do you know what I mean? Let's get it done.
Great stuff, James. But by the way, you're talking about AJ McKee, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Pico. Pico hasn't opened his mouth, so he doesn't. He's kept his mouth shut.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. First things first, get well soon. I hope the hand heals up very quickly. And I hope you get that opportunity at Bellator 200. It would make a lot of sense, I think. And obviously would sell some tickets. So that's probably most important for Bellator. Thanks for doing this, James. And thanks for efforting to get the Skype to work. I appreciate, even though we didn't get to the finish line, the effort is what counts. So an A for effort.
Yeah, you're a legend, Ariel. Thank you so much for having me on again. I really appreciate that.
No problem. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Ari.